Hi, I'm Sarah from Velo Works, and you may have been following our Moulton videos. Well, it's a couple of months now since Paul finished the restoration. Originally, the bike may have been for him, but now it's all for me. I'm going to go through some of the things that Paul's done to the bike since the final restoration. Also, I've been riding it for a few months, so I'm going to explain how I feel, if I enjoy it, what I think of it. I also, if you saw, I went on a tour with my friend Jenny on my trek, which you can see here. And getting from the trek back onto the Moulton, let's see how I found it. So come and join me.
Hi, I'm Paul from Velo Works, and I'm stealing the Moulton.
So it's been quite a journey actually restoring this Moulton. It took us nearly a year. You can find out more in this playlist, I think it's there or there, and enjoy it. I think Paul's actually brought my Moulton back now, which is very kind. So I'm just going to tell you a little bit about what we've done since the final restoration video, and then we will look at how I feel about it. So the first thing we did was change the angle of the handlebars. I was a little bit stretched out on them, so now I'm a bit more upright. So we've changed the angle of those, and then the grips as well, which are just wonderful. And so that was the first thing we did. We've put a new saddle on, which is from Madison. It's a gel saddle. I've been cycling all my life. I've tried many saddles. I've tried Brook saddles. I've tried saddles for road bikes. I've tried all sorts. The Madison ones, this is the first time I've tried this Madison gel saddle, but I've got one similar, the L2, I think. L100 on my touring bike. This is the first time I've been out with this one. Unbelievable. Oh, my bum feels great. So that was the next thing we did. And then we also have this SKS slide cage, bottle cage. So the actual mount is from Ride and the cage is from SKS. But this was a great way that because we didn't ask Argos to put any bottle bosses into the frame. So that's a great way to carry my water. Next up, we've still got to do this that I've just mentioned, and we still have to get the rear rack powder coated. Once we get the rear rack powder coated, we'll also be getting a bag for the Moulton. So that will be another video coming soon. We still have to change the seat clamp, so that's still to do. And then the other thing we've done is to we've taken off the black tape, which you would have seen in the previous video, and we've put on transparent frame protection tape in numerous places, which just protects the frame from the cables at different points. And yeah, so that's what we've mainly done. We've also, since the original video, hello, hi, you're sweet. Since the original video, we have also changed the gearing. I'll let Paul tell you a little bit more about that, and I'll tell you how I feel about it.
So for the gearing, we changed the chain set from a 40 to a 32. Now, usually you would change the chain rings, but on the 9-speed Qs, this is fixed. So we replaced the chain set. We'll use the other one for some other purpose. So that's just made the gears a little bit easier. The gear range is actually really good for this bike, and even for hills, because you're turning a small wheel. It doesn't have a huge range, and that's mainly because of spacing issues and the smaller wheel, but I think Sarah will let you know what she thinks about the gear range. So let me give you a little snippet of what I think about this bike. I've taken it for a few rides and I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like it because I should have given it to me, not to Sarah. It is a dream bike. It's so much fun, and I'm not lying. It is, I just can't put my fingers on it. I was worried because we were spending a lot of money on what was a very basic bike back in the day, and there was one point I was like, are we spending a bit too much? Should we have just bought a new Brompton? But oh my word, I'm so glad we did it. It is amazing. It's really good, like light off road. It's a joy to ride. It's really fast. I have to kind of keep up with Sarah, which, no offense to Sarah, but I've not had to do before, but I have to kind of really make an effort to keep up with her on this bike. And as soon as I think both of us rode it on that initial video when we had got it finished, we were both you can just feel that it's such a nice bike. I went to buy a Moulton recently. I'm not going to talk too much about that experience. It wasn't necessarily the experience I wanted. And from my personal opinion, no offense to Moulton, I think that this reconditioned bike is just such a nice offering and a really worthwhile thing to do with Moultons if you really want one. I do absolutely love it. and I'm jealous that Sarah has it. But at the same time, it's so nice that we've done something together. So yeah, it's a giggle of a bike.
So what do I think about the Moulton? I mean, apart from its absolute beauty, because we've all seen that, we all know what the frame looks like and the paint job. Apart from its absolute beauty, to ride it is indescribable. So we have let a couple of people ride it and they all come back like, what, that's amazing. And unless you ride it, you won't understand how it feels. It is fast, surprisingly fast. As Paul said, I'm now going a little bit faster than him, especially on the Brompton, but we just came up a hill. He was on his George Longstaff and I was on the Moulton and I shot off. So surprisingly very fast. The gears, I've got a great granny range. I am not a fan of hills, so this granny range has just blown my mind. I'm freewheeling a lot when it's downhill or on the flat, but that's fine by me. And on sort of off-road, even off-road, going up curbs, so much obviously suspension in the front and the rear, the tyres. Oh, it just feels incredible. So I'm so lucky to have this bike. I can't lean it on anything, only on the saddle. Keep getting told that, but I am so lucky. It just feels wonderful. So I just spent the weekend with my friend Jenny doing a cycle tour. I was back on my Trek, which we upgraded. It's a nearly 20-year-old Trek. You can see the video here. And I rode that, wonderful. Got back on the Moulton today and I'm like, oh, this is where I'm meant to be. It's like part of me. I can't explain it. It's just wonderful. So if you ever see us, I'm not going to let you try it, but if you ever see us, no, I'm not going to let you try it. I was going to say I'll let you try it, but I won't. Also, Argos Racing Cycle had a 50-year anniversary of them running, and we took this down as well as our 2 Argos bikes. They loved it, and I just felt so proud all day. They also had someone go round unbeknown to us looking at the bikes, and 6 people won a rosette for the nicest bikes, and this Moulton won one. So yeah, I mean, it was all Paul and Argos's hard work, but I won the rosette and the bottle of wine. So let's see what it's like just on some slightly off-road bits. Go. Sounds silly, not quite as good as my mountain bike, but almost. Very stable. I mean, there was, I don't know if you wouldn't have been able to see, but there was lots of roots down there, tree roots. Oh God, a little bit emotional, just wonderful. Thank you, Paul. Thank you, Argos. Thanks for everyone who's followed the journey.
This Moulton is a Moulton APB, an all-purpose bike, and it really lives up to its name. Thanks for watching and please subscribe.